Bud Light, you are not having a good year. In fact, you are having a terrible year. And as you suffer week after week of sales drops, perhaps your most desperate move yet occurred yesterday when you essentially admitted defeat. See, there are several key indicators when you're dealing with online backlash. Sometimes people will put their Twitter accounts private. Sometimes they'll hide replies. And when it gets really bad, they'll start blocking people. They'll start blocking people en masse. It's admitting defeat. It's saying, I can't take it anymore. And look, sometimes there are legitimate reasons to block people, especially even if you're a brand. If people are posting, spicy photos or, just wild stuff, I don't necessarily outright have an issue with blocking people. Blocking them for criticism, however, criticism of your product or as a customer, that's a whole different ball game. But, regardless of that, some people at Bud Light are probably going to need a change of shorts. And I've got a pretty good option for them. Check this out. Huge shout out to this video's sponsor. That's right, Sheath. These boxers are designed to keep your balls off your legs. Sheath has 3 individual compartments to keep everything down there separate and cool and comfortable. And hey, since they've been a long-time sponsor, I've heard from many of you who have tried out Sheath and really love it. They were invented by a U.S. Army soldier who came up with the idea for Sheath during his second tour in Iraq, where it was hot as heck and his boys needed to breathe. And on top of all sorts of awesome designs for Sheath, they've added all sorts of winter items, hoodies, gator necks, and all sorts of base layers. Head on over to the link in the description and pinned comment down below. Use my promo code to save and support the channel and keep everything nice, cool, and dry. Yeah, fellas, I know it might be weird to think about, changing what you choose to wear, as underwear, but I can tell you, Sheath is probably worth giving it a try, especially in these summer months. And you've got very little to risk, so check them out. They've been a strong channel sponsor for a long time. As we check in with AB InBev stock, the left have been celebrating all the money they were making by investing in it. Looks like, well, that's all gone now. Over the past 5 days, it's down 3.4%. Over the past month, it's still down 3%. Over the last 6 months, it's down 6%. Year to date, it's down 4%. Every time there's a little bit of a run, on, InBev stock, every time they have a little bit of positive press, the boycott gets worse. Like last week, week 12 or something like that, was the worst week yet for Bud Light sales drops. And now over this week, there was a little run there. There was a run between June 5th and June 15th there where it was up from $54 to $58. But now it's right back down. It's at $57.15, giving back almost all of that run over the past 5 days, down 3%. That said, bars now pushing bars see drop in Bud Light sales after controversy. This is a brand new article. Inside Bob Mackey's Country Music is on repeat every Friday and Saturday night. It's a good time, that's for sure. Bob Mackey, the owner, said, good country music, we play country music. For Bob Mackey himself, he's been going on 45 years here, but recently seen a change in his patrons on the dance floor. It used to be all Bud Light. It's noticeably different, he said. His wife, Denise, manages the honky-tonk and says she noticed the difference in sales immediately. The first night we opened after the campaign came out, our Bud Light floors were full. Denise said, we didn't sell anything basically as far as Bud Light, which for this bar was unusual. At the end of the night, I personally checked the coolers myself and they were full, Denise said, which is crazy because Bud Light has always been our top seller. Denise estimates that the sales decrease was 60 to 70% of Bud Light sales, and they're not alone. Bud Light retail sales were down 24% at the beginning of the month. According to Nielsen data analyzed by Bump Williams Consulting, Bud Light is no longer America's #1 selling beer a month after being taken over by Modelo, which is also owned by Anheuser-Busch. For Denise, her backstock looks entirely different from a month ago. She hasn't ordered beer in 3 weeks because of how much Bud Light she had. Typically, after a Saturday night, we would have half of what we have in the back. She said Miller Lite has become the new beer at Bob Mackey's, but thanks to the boycott, can't stay this way forever. Bud Light is just synonymous with beer. She said, if someone says you want a beer, yeah, I'll take a Bud Light. I don't know about that, player. I don't know about that. Now they've released their camo cans finally, as Anheuser-Busch tries to dig out of Bud Light hole. If we go to, the Budweiser page, they still, by the way, they deleted this tweet yesterday. The last thing they tweeted was on the 21st, and it got ruthlessly ratioed because people have not forgotten. And the camo bottles, I'm not sure that, I don't really care what color the can is that it's in. I'm more concerned with, what's in it and maybe what it represents, especially when it's something so easily replaceable like Bud Light. But look how desperate they're getting now. Bud Light to give away $10,000 every week as part of the biggest summer campaign ever in bid to end crippling boycott. I mean, you're literally paying your customers to come back. And the Twitter account is under complete attack. And now they've started blocking people. You have this person say, I've been blocked, LOL. Now, I don't know. They've made these, you never know. Screenshots can be faked, but there are a lot of people in these replies saying they've been blocked by Bud Light. You see this now their new tweet has let's just get an updated number, 23,200 comments compared to just 1,700 likes. The last time they tweeted was, 2 months ago, April 14th? 2 months and 2 weeks ago. And that has 33,000 comments compared to 5,000 likes. So this is already well on its way to having a more brutal ratio and far fewer likes. That just proves that things just keep getting worse. And you see, people are just saying, I have 3,100 likes on mine. Cool ad. View the hidden replies for the real story. You just see everybody in here memeing it. You see people selling their products. You see people like Liz Wheeler saying, none of this is funny until I'm talking about the ad. Until you apologize for using Dylan Mulvaney, a man pretending to be a woman, as your spokesperson. It's insulting that you would think an ad about summer will make us forget about our principles. The boycott continues. No apology will amend their wokeism. Jamie Mitchell says she's from the GAG group. You also effed. Everyone go look at the hidden replies for a good time. Here's their new logo. And then they have a bunch of new logos, obviously. It's brutal. And there are a lot of people in here. If you look up, now again, if you look up Bud Light blocked, there are some people who are, in the reply saying that they're getting blocked. Here you go. But you can see this is fake. So I don't know. Unless they have different fonts installed, I don't know. But then you have this person saying Bud Light blocked you. I was blocked by Bud Light the second they showed up. Oh, I blocked Bud Light. People are blocking them in replies. So I don't know if they really are blocking people. Here's, again, they blocked you. That other image looks kind of weird. But, it could be a different font they have inside on their phone or something like that. It's possible. They blocked me for posting their new logo. Interesting. Interesting. Now, you see, they're still saying in their replies, well, they're replying to other people. DC Drano writes, nobody wants to get roasted for drinking Dylan Light. And you see, they're completely lost. They don't know what to do, how to, react to it. Now they've reacted. Now they've just resorted to blocking people. Well, they rolled out a new summer-themed ad in hopes of getting back in the good graces of beer drinkers, but the effort fell short for many Twitter users still smarting over the brand's partnership with, of course, Dylan Mulvaney. And a lot of the replies were, crack a cold one, we've got an epic summer ahead, sock tans included. The company wrote in its Twitter post touting the new commercial, but Twitter users were not convinced. We haven't forgotten, one Twitter user wrote. Another Twitter user commented, have you apologized yet for slamming your loyal customers? Someone else wrote, all I see is Dylan Mulvaney. Another Twitter user wrote. It's hilarious. Another Twitter commenter wrote in response, not a chance. Lol, not a chance. Still not buying your product. They're stuck between a huge rock and a hard place because, ultimately, you have a situation where you can no longer use your own Twitter account. They literally can't. And just when you thought that the sales drop off would stop, it hasn't. The wider you had the biggest drop yet in week, 8 or 10 of this? It's not getting better. It's getting worse. I mean, when you have local bars saying sales are down 60%, 70%, it's insane. When you're blocking people, look, here's what Bud Light really has to do. Because if they're not going to apologize, look, they could apologize and be clear about it. They're not going to do that. What they really have to do now is literally go through these 23,000 people and block everyone who said something negative. And they're going to have to pay some intern to do it. And then what they have to do is keep tweeting, right? And then keep putting out bait for people and keep blocking them. That's what I suspect their next tactic will be, because it's, I guess, what I would advise them to do outside of outright apologizing. If they said, hey, Jeremy, we're going to pay you a lot of money. How do we get over this? How do we get over this hump? Can we use our Twitter account again? They basically have to lock it down. They have to only let people reply to it that's what they're going to have to do now. They're going to have to lock comments. They're going to have to start blocking people if they're not going to do the right thing and apologize. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you check out Sheath, link in the description. We'll talk to you again real soon.